Hello, everyone. Welcome to an Awkward Conversations follow-up. So this will be shorter. We just wanted to respond to a comment that was made on an episode recently. So we're going to talk about fun a little bit. Do you want to dive in?
This is follow-up to the video called
thank you.
Weighted.
Yeah.
So just if you're looking for that video, it's called Weighted.
Yeah.
You'll find it. And this is in response to that. So it might be good if you didn't see that to go look at that first.
because we were talking about the weighted life and how we can be free to not live a weighted life. And then this concept came up of fun, that people need fun, right? And that helps in not being weighted.
Yeah.
And there were some comments around that.
Right. So I think we talked about the value and the importance of fun and how our bodies actually need that and enjoy that. And that is why travel and tourism and all has such high income, such high value, because it's important for people to have fun. So one of the questions that we noted was, how do you have fun if you literally can't, in the sense of you're working job after job, you may have 2-3 jobs, you might be a single parent, you've got kids to take care of where it's just you're going 24/7 and your head hits the pillow, that's it, and you're just grateful to be in bed. We wanted to comment a little bit about that. Do you have any
Well, I was going to
thoughts?
take that even a little more extreme in that, we've spent many, many years now running around the world doing short-term missions, and that's put us in a lot of places where we've experienced culture, we've experienced poverty. And for a lot of you, and I don't mean this demeaning at all, but for a lot of you watching, if you haven't done that kind of travel, you may have a thought of what you think poverty is. And I'm telling you, if you haven't seen it, there is no poverty in America. And please understand, I understand that people deal with challenges and stuff. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying true depth of poverty where your life is really every day all about getting a little bit of food on the table for your family to eat. And that alone is a massive chore, right? So I was thinking of it, even taking it that extreme, as far as how do those people live? Because I've seen in some of those cultures, they still do things that bring joy to their heart. They do things that are fun to them. They sit around a fire and cook the rodent that they caught and they roast it and they're enjoying that. They're having fun with it. So I just wanted to bring it even deeper that fun doesn't mean spending a lot of money or having a lot of time or a lot of possessions.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's one thing we've noted is when we've taken teams on mission trips, how many Americans go, how can they be so happy? They have way
happier
less
than we are.
and they're happier than we are. How is that even possible?
Right.
And I'm always like, interesting, right? Like that's something to know.
It is something
And
to
the
know.
difference is they understand the value of those little things that mean so much of community, of connection, of lightheartedness, and somehow find a way in the midst of that to be lighthearted. We have made things so valuable and so important that if we don't have everything just right, we're not happy. And it's our sense of happiness is a warped view. But so let's talk about
let's take it a little deeper even than that. Think of a person who is literally in solitary confinement by themselves, doesn't see another person, and we can take it to different cultures or different times in the age of the world that where they may have literally been starving to death. They may literally not see anyone. They may not see the sun. Can a person like that still experience what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Right.
I think,
that's a good point.
And I was going to head there, where you have people in those kinds of situations that legitimately, how are you supposed to have fun? And my answer is, first of all, let me just note this. The question also was, is fun required or a value? Is fun essential? That was the word.
Yeah.
Is fun essential to being a disciple of Christ? And my answer to that is no. But it is essential for your own heart, for your own life, your own joy, your own contentedness. And I think when we are content, we can learn how to be happy. And I think that is valuable for us. I don't think God is requiring it. I think it's valuable for us. So
Yeah.
back to the person who's in solitary confinement out in the yard for an hour a day, or the person who ages ago would be in a, hole in the ground and not be able to see the sun at all.
Yeah.
I think there are still ways to have fun. And the reason I say that is because I think fun and having fun and learning how to live lighthearted is not a matter of circumstances. It's a matter of the heart and your determination in your heart. So I think there are things you can do even in prison, even in solitary confinement, even if you're, what's the word when you're stuck at home, you can't go out.
Yeah,
homebound.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're homebound,
even
if you're stuck in a nursing home and nobody comes to visit. I always think there are ways to have fun, because fun is not dependent on all the circumstances. Fun is dependent on you and what you decide to do when it comes to fun.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I'm sitting here thinking, wow, this is a bit of an awkward conversation, because you do have different views and opinions in different circumstances. And I was thinking that even fun is almost the wrong word to be using here in some senses, because of how we view fun, right? I'm thinking that there's an element of what we're saying is you want to bring joy, contentedness, which you just commented on, a happiness, a fulfilled, I want to say pleasure, but then I guess that even, opens up kind of different thoughts and skews. And in the end, I wonder, like, you remember the movie, I believe it was Tom Hanks, and he's on an island and he's by himself and he's got a soccer ball, right?
Yeah.
And that soccer ball became his friend. And I suppose people could look at that and go, well, he wasn't having fun. And I'm like, well, but wasn't he? Because to some degree, he took that soccer ball and it became his friend, his companion, his person to talk to. And so I think, that you brought it up earlier, and I'm stumbling around here because this isn't a bit of an awkward conversation, in that, like, you brought up the idea that, fun is an element of just bringing that joy and that happiness and that fulfillment and that contentedness. And it's not about material things and activities.
Right.
Right? So therefore, what you bring into your life to let the life of Christ come out, that should be fun.
Yes.
It's so many nuances.
Am I understanding you right? Because what I heard you just now say is, well, it's not always fun, but there's ways to be content. There's ways to be happy and ways to have joy. And it may not be fun.
Well, but no, there's ways to be content and happy and full of joy. And isn't that fun? Right? I think it depends on how you're going to, awkward. No, it's how you're going to define fun, I think. And what you're bringing into your life that then makes it not be a weighted, burdensome, heavy living.
Yes. But right? I think legitimately fun, I'm talking about having fun. And I'm not talking about contented and joy and happy. Like, those are all very different words to me. And I actually, when I say fun, I actually mean fun. I think it's valuable. I think it's important. I think it's needed, even if you are in solitary confinement, bedridden, homebound, homeless, whatever the thing.
Yeah.
I think fun is important, and I think there are ways to have fun. And the reason I say that is because I am surrounded by people who are very logical, who are very Spock-like and, emotionless.
Spock-like and emotionless.
I'm kind of kidding, but I'm kind of serious. Like, I'm surrounded by people who are very logical and very, like, maybe distant from just emotions. Like, can laugh, can do that, but, like, fun isn't as important. So I'm not saying I'm anywhere near homebound, bedridden, like any of that. Yeah. I'm not saying that.
Right.
But I'm saying in the midst of, I haven't had people around me who bring fun to my life per se. There are a few. I will say I've got a couple friends who do. But generally speaking, I'm around people are not that way. So then I have to find a way to have fun on my own, by myself, me and Jesus. And I do. And so the reason I say it that way is because it is important, and you can do it even if you are in the worst of situations and circumstances.
You can.
Because there's always a way to have fun when it's you yourself, by yourself. Like you can still have fun. And I think it's valuable and needed.
Right.
Period.
It's a bit entertaining to even think about, though, what you qualify as fun, because there have been numerous times where I've said, well, that was fun, and she'll look at me and go, what was fun about that? I'm like, well, that was fun. I enjoyed that. That was nice. But I'm also thinking about, I could pull out of our video archives children running down a dirt road with little shacks around them, no shoes,
beside the sewer,
literally beside the sewer,
running down the road.
And they have no shoes. They may not even have any pants, and they're chasing like a stick or a rock or whatever, and there's a dog running with them that, oh my goodness, is a mess, and a bird. And they're giggling, and there's a lightness about it, and it's not because of their circumstances. So I don't know. For this video, childlike. Well, it is. It is
childlike, which goes back to exactly what we're talking about on the video of not living weighted, but being childlike. And I think we just become too adult.
Yeah, we do.
And we need to be childlike. And that picture is exactly what I'm talking about.
It is. And with these videos, we're not trying to pretend like we have all the answers and have it all together, and we've got views and opinions that seem worth sharing. People are watching, so they must be worth sharing. And I think really we're stirring the conversation, right? So I hope for you that maybe you can look at your own life, and if you feel weighted and if your life is burdensome, could just some adjustments in your routine, adjustments in your attitude, adjustments in how you maybe there are things in your life that are a lot of fun, but you're not connecting with it even. So there's so many things that could be at play. We often say to ourselves, oh my goodness, we feel weighted at moments. I feel like more often than we should. That's probably why we had that conversation. Yes. We feel weighted, and then you look at our lives and you go, what in the world?
Yeah. What is your problem?
I mean, I said to a friend of mine just the other day, he said, man, you seem a bit, I remember what the word he used was, but for this conversation, you seem a bit weighted. And I'm like, I've got some problems, but honestly, if I'm really honest with myself, every single one of them is what I would call a first world problem. So it's not even really a problem. It's a matter of a choice. Mm-hmm. I'm making a decision on something. Do I do this? Do I do that? Or, it's not even really a problem.
Yeah.
So when I stop and admit that to myself, the weightedness has an opportunity then to leave. Mm-hmm. And for me, that's fun.
Yeah.
There you go. I don't know.
And for me, I'm thinking about today, for example. I will have fun today in one form or another. I have a couple ideas in my head. And so I would say wake up with the intention to have fun and find at least one thing to make you smile or laugh. You can. I mean, that is part of being healthy, is childlike laughter. Have fun.
Yeah, so many things, so many thoughts rolling right now, but hopefully that's what it's doing for you, is just stirring the conversation. And even those that are in truly heavy, dire situations that we've mentioned a few of, I hope that you can connect with just the goodness of God and connect with the fun of even that. Nothing can separate us from the love of Christ. Nothing can remove us from Him, not even bad circumstances. And there is an element of what we're talking about here in this, that, man, it is fun to feel loved.
And if I would say, if you are at a place where you're like, I can't even see the light through the trees right now.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Then sit in God's love.
Yeah.
Be content there. Be happy there. Mm-hmm. And look for those moments to have fun, and look for those ways to have fun, because you can get there.
You can.
But maybe it does start with you just sitting in the arms of Jesus and letting yourself be loved. Yeah. And that is more important than fun.
Yeah.
But fun is important.
Well, there you go. There's our not so short follow-up.
Yeah.
And I hope it stirred some more things in you. So God bless you all.
So we wanted to follow up just a little bit more because after we shut the camera off, we just sat and had a little bit more discussion. And some things came out that I've never given real conscious thought to. And as we discussed, we gained some insight. So do you have anything you want to say?
Yeah,
ask?
I do. You have a hair right here that needs taken care of. There we go. These are awkward
Grooming.
conversations.
We're grooming on camera.
Kenzie's behind the camera. Could you just unpack that just a little bit, where you started the after shoot conversation a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. So I had asked the question of first laying down that yes, fun is incredibly important, and that especially in our culture is a thing that we so often just kind of take on these burdens and carry these things that really like we should not be carrying. And so in that way, I totally see the connection of why fun is really important. Where I struggle is with putting fun at such a high level of value because there are circumstances and places where people, just legitimately are in.
Yeah.
I mean, we can think of Job. It's a good summarization, right?
Yeah.
I mean, put yourself in Job's shoes once he's lost everything. I mean, do you really think fun is going to be something that you, first of all, feel is attainable? Secondly, feel is really important.
Right.
And so I just think there's
Yeah.
some risks with putting fun at such a high value. It also causes us potentially to focus on circumstances when realistically we shouldn't always be focusing on our circumstances. So
Absolutely.
can you unpack that?
Yeah, and please take that to where you did in that conversation
Yeah.
regarding trust, because that's huge. We look at fun wrong, I think, sometimes.
Yeah.
So
I think,
unpack that a little, if you would.
So I think what I realized as we were processing and talking about that is when I say fun is of great value and great importance, if we back it up, here's the thing. If I'm not having fun, and I would say this about everybody, not just me, if we're not having fun, we're probably not lighthearted.
Yeah.
And you say, well, how could Job be lighthearted? And I say, here's the thing. Job, in his circumstances, could still have fun and should be looking to have fun. And you go, what the? Why? Like he's lost everything. He's sick.
Right.
He
Where's
has
there any
nobody.
fun?
His friends are condemning him. Like he's got nothing, literally nothing.
Literally. And he had everything.
And he had everything.
Yeah.
So, follow me here. Job could be weighted because he had nothing. Or he can bring himself to a place where he can trust God and therefore can then live lighthearted and therefore can have fun. So, we were talking about if I were Job, if I were in that position, how would I handle that? And it's interesting because my initial response is, yeah, I'd be in the depths of despair. I would
Right.
be in a terrible place, right? But when I realized, oh, this is now my life, at least for a season, for a time, awesome, then I'm going to be like, okay, how am I going to trust God in this? And fun is connected to trust.
That's huge.
Because when I trust, I can be lighthearted, I can have fun. You think about the childlike faith, where these kids who are running around with no clothes by the sewer, that's just the sewer water, sewage, running down the hill, just running around beside that, dirty, mangy dogs, running after a chicken, no clothes, sores on their feet, whatever.
Yeah.
Are they worried and are they fearful?
Yeah,
No.
They're not.
They're not. They have this mentality and this mindset of trust. I don't know if it's they're trusting God, they're trusting their parents, or are they just oblivious?
Right.
And even that, sometimes I think we should be a little bit oblivious, not ignorant. But I think there's a space of when we learn how to trust, that leads to a lightheartedness and that can lead to fun. When we feel weighted, we are not trusting God.
Yeah.
And that is the key and why fun is so important, because it has to do with trust. If you cannot have fun and you cannot be lighthearted, it means you've put yourself in God's position to make sure you take care of yourself. Everything is about on you. You better take care of yourself instead of being in a place where you are trusting God and going, okay, while this circumstance is difficult and hard, I'm going to trust God. And instantly that causes that weight to be like, I'm not God and I don't have to be God in this situation. And I can trust him.
Yeah.
Then I can be lighthearted.
That's so big.
Then I can have fun.
Yeah.
That's why fun matters so much.
Yeah. So I wanted to bring that back around in this conversation, that trust issue is so big. Because God is 100% of the time trustworthy. And I'll even add this in. God never lacks for resource. And when I say resource, I don't mean money. I do mean money, but I also mean he never lacks for anything. Joy, love, peace, ideas, wisdom, comfort, confidence. I mean, we can go on and on and on of the resources that we crave and want and need. He never lacks for one of those. So suddenly that trust issue can come in hard and fast, right?
Yeah.
And tying that to fun, I just think that was too important to not bring back to.
And I will say, fun is not God, right? Fun is not the highest point of our relationship with God. Fun is not like, I'm not trying to glorify fun, but I'm saying fun is an indicator. If you cannot have fun, it speaks of a weighted life.
That's good too.
It's like a symptom,
indicator.
Right? So it's more an indicator and
an indicator if you're trusting or not.
Yeah. So I think, there's
really
just
good.
so much value to fun.
Yeah.
Not more value than the blood of Jesus. Not more value than trust. Not more value than those things.
Yeah.
But it is very valuable to help us see some things about ourselves and where we are in our relationship with God.
Right. Yeah. Well, so there you go. Bringing fun around to trust.
Yeah.
And really bringing it around to our focus on Christ and the life that he's given us.
Yeah.
And letting that be our focal point, not our circumstances, not our whatever, not our weightedness. So there you go.
Ding the bells. Ding-a-ling-ding-ding. He's ringing the bell. Ring the bell so that you can get notifications. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Help us get the word out, spread this around. We are doing our best to bring about the good news of the gospel, the good news of Jesus.
Yeah.